The new LinkedIn Hiring Pro can't undo your last hire. The lone wolf, who you thought was a good collaborator because you didn't have the right candidate insights. But once you hired them, it was all hoarding info, declining meetings, and howling at the full moon? But LinkedIn Hiring Pro can go deeper than just the resume to find you a perfect fit by using insights from the LinkedIn network to give you a short list of best fit candidates. Hire right the first time with LinkedIn Hiring Pro. Post a free job today at linkedin.com/quality.
Zootopia 2 has come home to Disney+.
Let's go!
Get ready for a new case.
We're gonna crack this case and prove we're the greatest partners of all time!
New friends.
You are...
Gary the Snake.
And your last name?
The Snake.
Dream Team.
And new habitats.
Zootopia has a secret reptile population.
You can watch the record-breaking phenomenon at home.
You're clearly working at.
Zootopia 2, now available on Disney+, rated PG.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of
The Filmmakers
Podcast. This is a podcast where we talk
Filmmaking.
from indie films to studio films to high-end TV to documentaries and
Nothing left in between.
how to get them made, how to make them, and how to try not to
Royally F them up.
in a very, very humble opinion. I am Giles Alderson.
I am Dom Lenoir.
And today, filmmakers, we're sitting down with the directing duo who has single-handedly revitalised the modern slasher genre. They operate under the filmmaking collective Radio Silence, and they burst onto the scene with their incredible found footage segments in VHS and Southbound. Oh yeah.
So it might be a very quiet episode, and you might not hear from them.
And Dom sat down with Conor Boru to chat to the filmmakers, Matt Bettinelli and...
We can rename him Bat. I mean, it's a good horror name.
It's a really good horror name. Matt Bettinelli-Olpin and Tyler Gillett. Because since they made VHS and Southbound, they have been on an absolute whirlwind and an amazing journey, because they breathe brilliant life into the Scream franchise with Scream and Scream 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And they delivered the wildly entertaining vampire ballerina bloodbath, Abigail. But here, today, to talk with Dom and Conor, they are chatting about returning to the universe that made them horror royalty. Because
Horror
they're here to
royalty.
talk about, ready or not, 2. Here I Come.
As we discussed in the episode, is it really a horror?
Wow.
Have you seen it?
Have I seen the film yet? No, sadly
Second
not.
one? No. Okay.
Sadly
Well,
not.
I mean, it's definitely got a lot of horror tropes, but I would say, I mean, that's one of the exciting things we discussed in the episode is it's about 5 genres. So yeah,
5 genres.
More of that
No, I'm
later.
watching it this coming weekend. I can't wait. I loved the first one. I thought it was fantastic, and obviously they're brilliant filmmakers. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what they've brought to this. Because returning is the amazing blood-soaked Samara Weaving, and she's alongside an incredible cast, including Kathryn Newton, Michelle Gellar, Elijah Wood, and the legendary David Cronenberg. Because the film picks up, right, Dom, literally the same day as the first one ended, but it cranks up the Satan worshipping and hide-and-seek madness to 11. So, what do you
Maybe
die?
even 12. Maybe
12, even 12. But it doesn't. But you wouldn't say it's a horror? Wow.
Well, no. I mean, not a pure. Not well. Okay, we'll go into it, but we did talk about how many different amazing elements this one has, especially. I mean, first of all, you've got this amazing new sister dynamic that's very heartfelt drama, actually. Then you've also got Michelle Gellar and her brother, who also have their own dynamic going on. There's all these different families. There is a lot of drama going on as well. And I think they really lent into the comedy as well. And then it kind of goes into these like stylized action sequences that are almost in that kind of not superhero vein, but there's elements of like, you know, Hollywood action comedy, fun stuff going on, and then it does go into like very serious horror. So it kind of flips into a lot of these genres very seamlessly. But it's I wouldn't say it was one of anything. I think it's a really interesting blend that I think will keep a lot of people happy that like an eclectic movie taste.
I'm so intrigued by this because I do hate this that everyone puts you in a box. You know what I mean? Oh, this is your genre. This is what the film is.
Yeah.
Like, why? Why do we have to be in that? Why can't there be a hybrid of various genres? And I know people have got to sell it, and people get annoyed when it says a horror, and then it's not enough of a horror for those fans, and the same if it's an action. I get all that. But you know what? If it's a mix, it's a hybrid, brilliant. I love those kind of films. I love action, I love horror, I love thrillers, so why not? Why can't it be a blend?
Why not? Yeah.
I can't wait to see it. What else do you chat about, Dom?
We talk about the importance of crafting intros and outros, and actually how that was one of the things that there was ideas there, but it was in flux, which is really interesting.
Yeah.
We talked about something we'll cover later as well, which is having really wild ideas and then executing them in a very grounded way. And that also comes back to the genre, like whether you're doing comedy moments or horror moments or action thriller moments, coming up with something that's really wild within that category and then treating it very seriously so it's like earnest and plausible. And I think that's something that gives the film a very like relatable kind of edge. We also talked about working as a duo. That's how many questions directors get bombarded with, and how that sort of helped them having their kind of dynamic together, and working with some of the incredible cast.
Wow, what a treat for you all. I can't wait to listen to this one myself. This is going to be amazing. But you mentioned there, actually, we're going to talk about something later. Were you hinting at what the topic of the week could be later for our outro? Go on. What should the topic of the week be?
How to make interesting, original ideas that are quite outlandish land.
Oh, how to ground them. You mean in reality when they're outrageous?
Yeah,
especially in the horror
coming up
genre.
with outrageous ideas that don't feel stupid. Because there's a lot of films where they do it and it feels stupid and it doesn't feel related to the characters and you're not on side with the journey. Whereas I think this one manages to do that very well.
I love that. All right, let's make that topic of the week. Good luck to me and you later making that topic of the week. But first, this is Dom Lenoir sitting down with Conor Boru, as I mentioned, as another guest host. He's just smashing them out at the moment. So grab your weapons, check your corners. Please welcome to the show Matt Bettinelli-Olpin and Tyler Gillett. See you at the other side.
You guys look sharp.
Thank you.
I love that. I love that.
Well, I'm Dom, and this is
Conor.
And I was thinking Domus family, so when I was dressing this morning...
Perfect. You have to excuse the puns. There may be quite a few.
I love it. We're all about it. We're both dads. We speak in pun.
Okay. Okay. Well, I mean, yeah, I'm usually guilty of a few million puns per episode.
A few dad jokes for sure.
Fantastic. So, I mean, welcome to London. Massive congratulations. We were at the multimedia screening yesterday. It was an absolute riot.
Right.
Everyone was having an amazing time.
Love hearing that. Yes.
Laughs, engagement, drama. Quite heartfelt.
All the things.
Yes.
Yeah,
that's what we're hoping, that the heartfelt stuff comes through.
Yeah, I think it really does, and we'll sort of cover that a little bit later. But I mean, first of all, just going into, making this as a sequel. Sequels are really hard to get right. You've got to do enough of the first film to keep people happy that enjoyed that, but you've also got to create something that feels original. Can we sort of start off with that and like how that sort of that process began?
I feel like that was our big thing stepping into this was, how do we service the first movie but not be beholden to it and make sure that this stands on its own? And I mean, the bar we set for ourselves was that it has to be able to, you have to be able to watch both these movies side by side and not feel like a quality drop and feel like they deserve to be in the same world. And our comps for it were Aliens and Terminator 2. Those were the ones we kept going to, not in terms of like how they did the story, but just in terms of how the kind of
elevate the first.
Yeah, the genre changes a little bit. You get deeper mythology, deeper character work. And so we really took those to heart and tried to make something here that would do all of the stuff that you want but not in a way maybe that you would expect, so that it would feel different and feel fresh. And then the stuff that was going to be the same, like the hide and seek is the same. Let's lean into the fun of that and just be like, you're doing the same fucking thing again. Move on, And so it was a balancing act the entire time to try to get that right.
There was also, I feel like we are living in a time when movies where there's so many franchises and so many sequels, and I think that audiences are just, I think, primed for that, and in positive and negative ways. I think that there's like people who really love those franchises are always going to show up, but I think there's also some fatigue around sequels. And so going into that, like just on a meta level, understanding like, oh, we have to challenge ourselves and push ourselves to make something more audacious and weirder than we might have even 6 years ago, when the first one had released.
I mean, just sort of going on to those two sequels you mentioned, Terminator, I mean, Aliens, like they're my two films where I actually enjoyed the sequel more.
Yeah,
they're
both perfect movies.
They're both perfect.
And by the way, all four, and
Well, I mean, just quickly before we get on to some of the nitty-gritty bits of like how to make the film, that central heartfelt storyline between the sisters, like, can you maybe just expand a little bit on that?
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I think one of the things we also knew we wanted to port over was those real earnest emotional moments that I think people responded to in the first movie. And, within all of the sort of wackiness and all of the heightened genre elements, like there's a real heart. There's something really genuine at work. We wanted to port that idea over to this, but we didn't want it to just be Grace running and surviving on her own. Mm-hmm. That worked very, very well and was very successful in the first movie. And we always knew there had to be a character that was sharing the experience with her, that was sort of entering the world of the story new, the way that Grace was entering the world of the story in the first one, right? This our sort of point of view, our newcomer, our eyes and our ears entering this kind of crazy, fucked up situation. And we had gone down a few paths with that relationship. It was a friend from her past for a minute. It was a police officer for a minute. It was the daughter of one of the families for a minute. And when we met Kathryn and worked with her and thought, holy shit, that she just would pair chemistry-wise so beautifully with Samara, that became our pitch for what the central relationship could be. And when that solidified, it's so interesting how everything, all of the sort of family dynamics within the movie kind of unlocked and amplified in a really specific way. Like Titus and Ursula suddenly became more interesting foil and mirror to to our hero siblings. And
it was a thematic unlock.
And it's funny how it sometimes takes a minute to arrive at the right idea, and when you do, you immediately go, oh, I can't imagine it being anything but that now. But
once we were able
to discover it,
there's a darkness and anti-love story in the first movie, right? And once that happened, we were like, oh, this is like a love story. We're telling a love story here. Let's lean into that. And I think it really helped us just kind of see the movie as a whole emotionally,
and see the two movies
side by side
as it's a two-part. We've been talking so much about how it's really just one movie in so many ways, with Grace walking out of the mansion is the midpoint of this larger story about family and love. And
Is this something you planned from the start when you were working on the first one? Did you think we're going to leave it open to the sequel, or is this something you've had to then go, right, where did we leave it, and can we reverse engineer something and use the parts that we've already laid out and make something new and special?
It was definitely not something we ever had in mind. I don't
Zero premeditation.
Yeah, this was a let's kill everybody but Samara, but Grace, and it was born out of the desire to get the group back together and to do a thing. But there was a nugget at the end of the first script that the guys wrote that introduced this idea of a bunch of other families who all had made the same deal with the devil, essentially. And so that kind of joke ending that we couldn't afford to shoot, so it just disappeared, was the foundation and the world building, the grain of salt that we needed for this. And so in some ways it was present, but not in a way I think we ever thought we'd actually do.
Makes sense. And I had one more practical question, because our audience are mostly filmmakers, so they're very interested in like the craft and what goes on behind the scenes as well. So as you're a duo, we don't often have many directing duos on the podcast. What is that dynamic like? How do you work together? Does one person take on more of a lead in certain areas? How do you handle creative differences?
I mean, I don't know how we wouldn't do it the way that we do it. And I think part of that is, and we have many friends who direct solo. It's such an undertaking in making anything, regardless of scale. It's, the collection of a million choices and pressure over time and all of those things that, I mean, it's very anxiety producing, right? There's a lot riding on it. A lot of people are looking to you for answers. And I think the thing that we've really found is approaching the process as a collaborative duo means that we're always able to rattle test the movie, the ideas, the characters with someone who is as intimately involved and cares as much as you do, and knows all of the challenges and all of the opportunities that exist in an idea. Usually that is with, or that responsibility rests on one person. And it's so great to be in a constant state of dialogue about a thing. Instead of people coming up to you expecting answers, they come up to us and they're part of a conversation. They're part of a dialogue about how to make something as good as it can be. And that's a process that has evolved over 18 years with us. And I think it's really the nucleus of how we run everything on set, right? We are as ego-free as you could imagine. Like we're never interested in being right. We're only interested in doing what's right for the story and for the movie.
Right. And just talking about the sort of beginnings and endings, because we lightly touched on that here. The intro sort of shot is like a bit of a one-er, is very, very deliberate. It's very assured. I mean, it does two things. It A, is very focused from a sort of visual perspective. B, it shows off some incredible acting from like, unbelievable. Yeah. Like, what an amazing performance. Just how do you approach, the intros and the endings of films? Because I feel like that's a bit that shifts quite a lot. You get the sort of second act, you get the third act. You know roughly where it's going to start, but how, in terms of this one, like how it starts and ends, how is that sort of signposted in the writing process and how you sort of develop things?
The beginning and the end of this movie were in flux a lot throughout it. The ideas were present from the very beginning. We're going to start right where we left off, and then once we had Kat as Faith is another character, the sisters are going to walk off together at the end. Those ideas were present, but there was so much discussion on how do we do this in a way that, I mean, I like that you said that it's assured. The idea of how do you just tell the audience in the first couple minutes of the movie, like, you're in good hands, just trust us. And we circled a million ideas of how to do that opening. And then one day it was Brett, our DP, who was like, we could just strap what's it called, a doggy cam or something?
Yeah, it's a snore. But it's same. Yeah.
Yeah, and just put that on her. And then if we can merge the footage, and we're like, fuck yeah, let's just do that. Because you want to just go into the movie and literally let us hold your hand into the movie. Put a song that we love in there and let that do so much work. And then at the end, the end of the first movie is so, like, it's a joke, right? It's it's literally a one-liner. And we wanted to make sure that we weren't trying to replicate that. And so we kind of went the other way. We were like, let's go into the emotion of this. And there can still be humor, but let's go and do the thing that we love in so many. It's like Casablanca or, Last Crusade. It's like literally just watch them walk off into the sunset, and that's our end. And so we debated a million ways to do both of those things. The goal always being the same of how do you handhold the audience and walk them in, and then let them leave in a satisfying way. And I think we feel really good about where we ended up, but it was not a quick journey to get there.
And I think that the technical achievement in that first shot is really something else. It was the level of VFX work that's at work in it, the merging the final shot from the original movie. It's the same shot, untouched, with new footage. I mean,
shocking.
An actress that somehow hasn't aged in 7 years is pretty remarkable. But also, I think really the thing about that, the opening shot specifically too, I think that the hopefully there is some real tone signaling in what it is as well, that you feel. That I feel like that final shot of the first movie has become something iconic and is like supercharged with that. We know that it's been memed so many times over the last 6 years, and so
The highest compliment.
yeah. By the way, a huge compliment, but also for us was like, oh, what a cool first subversion of expectation. That this iconic thing that you remember from the first movie, you actually haven't seen all of it. What if the camera didn't cut? What if the story just continued? And hopefully that's the sort of first signaling of, oh, we're doing a sequel. You're back in the world of Ready or Not, and some things are going to feel familiar, but we're going to surprise you at every turn.
Yes. I mean, you briefly touched on the soundtrack. I absolutely love the choices that you used for this. It was so good, especially the fight scene with the DJ booth. Bonnie Tyler, absolutely incredible. Is this something that you're planning ahead of time? Is it like in the script almost, or is this something you're discovering on set or even in the edit? We're just trying out different options.
It's both. We've gotten pretty good about writing not specific cues, but like reasons, sometimes specific cues.
We do a pass on the script before shooting that's always, where is a place for music in the movie, like diegetic music? How can we get a radio in the corner? How can we, find a way to bring that world into the movie? It's just because we love it. And it's to talk about like the Bonnie Tyler scene, that's a perfect example of it. It was that scene was set somewhere else, and then because of budgetary reasons, we put it in.
What was it? A casino floor?
It was a casino, yeah. And then we could only use that casino that another scene happens in for like one night. So now it's in a wedding venue, and we're like, oh, that's great. There's two brides. Oh my God, it's all coming together thematically. But once you're in a wedding venue, oh, there's a DJ booth. Let's put a fucking song here. And then the funny thing is, usually what happens is we mark places for music like this, and then we try a ton of songs until something just feels right. In this movie, that opening Amy Winehouse, Will You Still Love Me Tomorrow, and Total Eclipse of the Heart are both songs that we actually tried in the first movie. Didn't work for various reasons. And in this, we're like, we got to try that here, and we got to try that here. So we actually went into both of those scenes knowing ideally that's the song we're going to use. And then we never could beat them. So they both stayed those songs the entire time. So when we were actually filming the Bonnie Tyler scene, we knew in our heart that we were hoping it would be Bonnie Tyler.
You're not an Eclipse heart.
We had
I did warn you.
The first version of that we'd really fallen in love with of the ending of the first movie, we'd used Amy Winehouse.
Yeah, that's where we tried it.
And so it only makes sense that we're now using it at the end of the first movie, but the beginning of the second
one, yeah. And then really quick on that same thing, we had then when we were bookending the movie with the two Will You Still Love Me Tomorrows, that's a new song written and recorded for the movie. And it was, such a big ask to be like, hey, you gotta compete with the Amy Winehouse, but it can't be the same. It's got to be a different vibe. And they just knocked it out of the park because it just lands the plane emotionally so well.
Yeah, I mean, amazing. It does really heighten the emotion. I mean, just going further on to how that implements into the tone. How do you juggle the genres like comedy, dark comedy? Obviously, this one like really leaning into the sort of sisterly drama. Mm-hmm. There's definitely like the horror, which I feel like towards the end, especially, sort of ramps up quite a lot. But there's some pretty heavy bits in the middle where people are getting maimed and beaten up. I mean, how do you balance all that? Because it is very hard to get it so that it's not tongue-in-cheek and it's not sort of so silly that your audience is lost or they don't buy the characters, but you're still laughing and you're still enjoying it. I think it's like very smart the way that you balanced it. It's not
Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it starts from a place of wanting to treat all of those ingredients, all of those various tones really seriously and really earnestly, while also not taking the movie itself too seriously. It's sort of hard to talk about, but or hard to maybe really define. But I think we love concepts that like on their face are wildly absurdist, right? I think if you look at our body of work, they all sort of have that in common. And then
Very
I think
silly.
within that, that sort of silly, heightened reality or conceit, you then treat all of the tones that exist within it with real earnestness. So you're like not being afraid to be sentimental when it comes to these like genuine emotional moments, and not being afraid to like go hard with the genre stuff when it calls for it. And also like not being afraid for a really grounded reaction to this heightened reality to like be funny and to just be sort of naturally, because of the situation, naturally humorous. And then for us, I think so much of the job is collecting more than we know we're going to need in all of those genres. So like there's a version of the movie that could be a straight comedy. There's a version that could be like a really like mean sort of cruel horror movie. There's one that could just be a plain drama. And then it's really calibrating it in the edit.
Yeah.
And look, the script is...
Well, was the balance roughly where it was in the script in terms of like where the comedy and the horror and the drama was?
I think it's always a little more comedic.
Yeah, I think yes. I think it's always a little. I think we never approach them as comedies, and I think that's a big thing to note. Right? It's like we don't want it to be. In fact, when people or it's advertised as like a comedy, we're like, no, it's not a comedy. Like this is like Will Ferrell's making a comedy. Then that's great, and we are not doing that because then it'll
the next film.
But it allows the humor to be a little more unexpected, even if you know it's coming. But it's like, I think the thing we always go to is the movies we love, like Beverly Hills Cop or Midnight Run, or
another amazing sequel.
Yeah,
Beverly Hills Cop 2.
Oh my god, the best. And those are funny fucking movies.
Die
but they're
Hard with
also
a Vengeance is one of the funniest.
Well, Die Hard is a fucking
they're
funny
like
movie.
just wildly,
But yeah, it is. But finding it's always a thing. And like, like again, really quick to go back to the Bonnie Tyler scene. That was a scene that we forced ourselves into a corner on, and we were like, this has to be super fun and funny and silly. And there's like, shadow boxing or whatever you call it, like blind boxing. And then also by the end, you need to be uncomfortable and go, fuck, I didn't know this movie was going to make me feel like this. And to be able to balance that is really the entire tone, like in a nutshell.
I think something you did really well, and the question I wanted to ask about your action sequences, they felt so visceral and impactful. Like sometimes you become desensitized to violence on screen, but I found myself like wincing a lot in a good way.
Great.
It felt really realistic and yeah, like I said before, visceral. How are you going about crafting these kind of scenes to make sure they're punchy?
I think so much of it is just making sure that action doesn't overstay its welcome. I think there's just so much. People are like, we see so much of it now, so much choreography, so much action, so many fights, so many, big superhero things, and they're all really wonderful. But I think for us, it's making sure that those beats are always in service of character first, and that it feels like you're watching the characters that are only in this movie very specifically fight and interact in a way that could only exist in this movie. And then on a craft level, I think, and this is just a style choice for us, we just love a handheld camera that's not afraid to be really close and up in the action. I think we're not opposed to popping wide to show things, but we hate it when it feels like, oh, we're showing you something cool that we did, instead of, no, we're showing a character having a real experience.
It's grounding it through the character so that it's not about the thing. Hopefully it's about the character reacting to the thing.
Right. Totally. And I think, and then you also, in that approach, hopefully, you get a great stunt team who's really wonderful with working with your cast, and then you get to like have your actors in there and you see their faces, and you feel the reality of it because the camera's up close with the cast, with those characters.
Just kind of in line with what some of the references earlier, like James Cameron said, action should always be led by the story, never there to just serve as
show off action.
Yeah. Exactly.
Wasn't that delicious? So good.
Your bill, ladies.
I got it. No, I got it. Seriously, I insist. I insisted first. Oh, don't be silly. You don't be silly.
People with the Wells Fargo Active Cash credit card prefer to pay because they earn unlimited 2% cash rewards on purchases.
Okay, rock, paper, scissors for it. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. No!
The Wells Fargo Active Cash credit card. Visit wellsfargo.com/activecash. Terms apply.
This episode is brought to you by Perfect Bistro Cat Food.
cats, this ad is for you. Has your human ever called you picky, persnickety, choosy? If so, Perfect Bistro cat food is for you. With ingredients like wild-caught tuna and pasture-raised lamb, tantalizing textures, and delectable flavors that meet even the most discerning cat standards. You're not picky, you're just perfectionists. Perfect Bistro, mealtime perfection for every cat. Have your human visit perfectbistro.com.
Let's talk just a little bit about the characters. How do you work with actors? How do you get great performances? I know we mentioned having conversations rather than, maybe notes so much, which is definitely like a more collaborative kind of way.
Yeah.
Because there's a bit of pressure when you're working with like very high level actors who've got a big presence. Maybe like going back slightly further in your career on that sort of side of things, but just your general process for rehearsals, getting past that and opening that communication.
We have not had a lot of time on any of our movies for a lot of like a prolonged rehearsal time. Mm-hmm. So a lot of it is we meet them, we just kind of get to know them. We have conversations about the story, about the character, all that stuff. We love letting them give us their version of the character. And if there needs to be a nudge left or right, great. Yep. But like, how do you make this yours? I'm so much more excited to see that than doing whatever we have in our head. It's going to be much better if you can filter it through your own thing. And so it's as much as we can, it's allowing them to embody it. And then our job, especially on set, is to just nudge left and right throughout. And, if there's something missing, inform them and help them, but not like we're not giving like acting lessons or anything. These guys, everybody's super talented and they know what they're doing. And so it's really like once we're all on the same team, it does feel like a sport when we're shooting. It's really just like coaching. It's like everybody knows what they're doing. Mm-hmm. If we need to remind you of something, great, but like you fucking got it, go for it, And we found that it's really allowed us a lot of unexpected little treasures that we find throughout where someone feels the freedom to like take some swings and try some cool shit. And it's almost always the stuff that we love the most.
Yeah, it's watching somebody personalize a character that on the page is well drawn but incomplete because there's
by design.
There's not a real human to bring it to life, and trusting and being willing to listen when people have good ideas. I think of Kevin all the time on Abigail, Kevin Durant, who was, that character was written as like to have a Cajun accent, and Kevin came in and was like, well, I'm Quebecois, and there's mafia in Quebec, and I would just love to use my native accent, and like it's his, and he loves it more because it's connected to his past, and it becomes personal, and it all matters. And it all matters more.
Pretty good. Any 30-second advice just to finish on? We're going to wrap up now, but just for filmmakers going forward.
Just don't be afraid to fail.
Keep making stuff.
And keep making shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing. Fantastic. Thank you. Absolute pleasure.
Thanks so much.
Yeah. Super fun.
Yeah.
Thank you.
What a treat that was. What a great chat. They seem like brilliant guys. Really cool.
They were.
Wow. What did you learn the most, do you think, from them as a directing duo, Matt and Tyler? By the way, Ready or Not 2 is out now in cinemas. It's been released by Searchlight. Well, Dom's thinking of an answer. Searchlight Pictures. And obviously, as we've mentioned there, it stars Samara Weaving. It's so cool.
Whilst I'm searchlighting for something to think of.
Is there something to say?
Something to say. I think that their handling of tone is the kind of, I don't know about learned from, specifically from the chat, but the chat plus the film.
Yeah.
I think their handling of like making their sort of explanation of how to deal with really outlandish ideas, but that don't feel stupid. I think that's like the big, that's always make or break for me. And if I watch a Hollywood movie, whether it's like Batman or Superman or, comedy sort of caper, it's like if you've got big things going on, but it doesn't quite feel plausible somehow, and the way that they've leaned into the sort of cheesiness and the cliches doesn't quite feel like everyone on the team is even buying into it. It sort of feels like it's there to serve as a silly moment. That kills so many movies, I think, and that's such a useful skill to be able to do.
Well, I think it's incredible what they've done as well. If you think, because Scream and Scream 6, V16. Like to resurrect the series when it was kind of, everyone was going, yeah, all right, they're just getting a bit, you know, they were both brilliant movies. I thought, you know, bringing him to New York, Ghostface to New York, and it was massive box office success, which has obviously led to the Scream 7, which has just come out, and now they're doing Scream 8 as well. Oh, that's amazing. And the fact that they started off as YouTubers as well, or a YouTube collective, as it were, making digital shorts, and then they broke out, obviously, with the segment in the 2012 horror anthology VHS. I think it's really cool, you know, to do that. And then Abigail as well, their movie before this as well, the vampire ballerina heist. And that's where they met Kathryn Newton, obviously, because she was in that. So yeah, they kind of knew she would be perfect for Gracie's sister in Ready or Not 2. Yeah, I love that. I mean, I used to direct with someone else as well in the past when I first started trying to make shorts. I did direct with someone else, and I didn't mind it. I actually quite enjoyed to have someone to lean on all the time, kind of how now I do with the first AD or my DOP. Or your walking stick. Or my walking stick, or my director's chair that I demand is with me everywhere. No, I actually find that I if as soon as I sit down, that's it. I'm like, don't sit down, Charles, don't sit down. Yeah, it's better to stay on your feet. I find that, to have that person with you in the trenches so you know everything about the piece, I think is really important. Really important. Have you ever directed with someone else? Co-directed?
Not really. I mean, I sort of feel like I think I've definitely supported. I've definitely supported as a first AD or a producer to the level where I'm, you know, like maybe,
stepping into the director role.
I'm kind of accident, not you know, just to sort of help things get solved and to, you know, finish the days. Like I've kind of stepped into that role, but that's more like, you know, sort of trying to make sure that the film survives and it does well, and not stepping on anyone's toes. So it's a little bit more like light touch, but, you know, reasonable impact. So I've done like bits and bobs of that, but not in a sort of truly collaborative way, because, I don't know. I think I'm sort of quite explosive when I do direct, and I'm like really into an idea like that. I'm sort of going at 100 miles an hour, and it would. I don't know. I mean, you never say never until I've tried it, but I feel like I might struggle just because I've got such an unusual thinking process. Like I don't think sort of in a normal traditional way. I think I've got like lateral creativity and
I agree with that, and I agree with that for you as well. I think you would have had to have done. I know, but you know what I mean. You know, when some people, it could sort of tell that you're going, your vision is your vision, and you've got a great vision, and then to have to try and share that and explain that to someone else on the spot. If you haven't done it since you were first making shorts and first coming up together, so you get each other's rhythms, to do it now when we've both made feature films, I think would be really tough. I was kind of offered something recently, and that was to direct with someone else, and it was a big movie, and I still probably would do it, but I would be taking the lead with it. But if me and you were to direct together, I don't know if it would work. I don't think
we would definitely have
like Spielberg and Scorsese directing together, you just get in the way of each other. It's kind of a bit like what again, I didn't mean to put me and you in Spielberg or Scorsese level when I was saying that, but I'm saying you can't imagine it. Fair enough, fair play to you. And I think by putting too much pressure on it, and I do think it needs, you know, unless, like I say, duos do it together, but if, you know, established directors did come together to work together, I think it would be really difficult.
Yeah.
You'd be battling each other. Because you've got all these things in your head, and we're used to it now. We're used to directing on our own. We're used to knowing how to get through the trenches and understand what shots we need. To try and sit and explain that to someone else, and they've got their own idea, oof.
Yeah, I think it definitely helps if you've already set the precedent and the dynamic. And I think then it's like you're just, you know, you're two halves of a mental process.
Yes, and one person would be leading, I think, much more. One person would be talking to the actors and one person would be more technical. I definitely think that. Maybe one of you is also the cinematographer. Sure. Like the Coen brothers do it, and they've sort of separated as well and come back together. The same with the Safdie brothers, whether they'll come back together or not. Who knows now? They've both made massive, you know, films on their own. Why would you? I don't know. I think it's a fascinating subject for people who've done it. And we have had guests on who have co-directed quite a few times now. So seek them out. Just put co-directing into thefilmmakerspodcast.com on the search bar and you will find more should you wish. Should we get to topic of the week? I think it's an interesting one, even though that felt like a topic of the week. Yeah. Go on then, let's tell our audience what it is again, Dom, and start us off.
Well, so one of the things we talked about in the episode, as we've discussed, is that different people have said, oh, I like this film because it's a comedy, or I like this film because it's an action thriller, or I like this film because it's a horror. And they discussed about how they balance those tones. And one of the main things that they sort of came across was creating something that was original and quite out there, and then making sure that everyone treated it on set like it was really earnest. So, I mean, like, for instance, there's a fight scene. I won't go into any spoilers, but there's a fight scene that takes place in one of the venues, and there's a sort of musical tune, and it's kind of grounded in where the characters have come from. What are their past? What are their past motivations? What are their past relationships? Where have they been in the story at that point? And even though some of the things that happen are extremely comical, it's also just very enjoyable, and you're kind of along for the ride.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like, a very good sort of stylized action scene. And then there's comedy moments where it sort of flips very nicely and seamlessly into the genre, and it becomes like a sort of a very well handled comedy sort of scene where character dynamics are playing out and they're very funny, but no one's like playing up to the camera. It's just they're funny people, or there's funny like relationship dynamics, for instance. Or it will go into horror, and then suddenly it's like an action sequence is a little bit more gory and a bit more like not pulling its punches. And we're leaning into that, and this isn't fun anymore. This isn't sort of funny characters that are dark. This is like quite serious. And it's the way they handle all those different elements in each of the moments, all going into the drama, like the sister relationship when they have their sort of moments. It goes quite touching, but it's it's based on their relationship and how they interact with each other. So each of those segments none of them are overcooked, and they're all very much related to who's in the scene and what's happening, and them finding themselves in a situation rather than trying to manufacture a situation or a laugh or a scare, or something like that. So so it's grounded, and it works very well. And I think it's a great, because it covers so many genres, I think it's a great example of how to sort of keep something that manages to be really fun and yet never feels stupid.
Yeah, I think it's so important for us as directors, if we're going to do this, that the actors are not in on the joke. They have to be playing it very, very seriously. And the quickest way to ruin that is if the actor thinks they're knowing they're in a comedy, or they're trying to do. We've all seen it in those movies where you're like, they're in the wrong movie. They're acting at. You've got to do it seriously, and I think that's where sometimes some of the big, huge horror movies, as it were, that you're kind of like, you're playing it for the laughs here. You're not. It really has to be grounded, and I think even in these crazy, crazy movies, the more grounded you can be, the better it is. The funnier, crazier it is if that character is actually terrified. If the actor's terrified, it makes it funnier. I think using sound is another way to do this, as for directors as well.
Sound advice.
Thank you. I think having that switch, it could be the sound effect of something, or stylized where the stunt ends and it just stops, or the breathing, the squeak of something, and then you take that away. It's like an acoustic vacuum just pulls you out of that and brings the audience back to reality. And I think the third one, which I'd like to talk about, is the camera language as well. You can have this huge, outrageous sequence, big kinetic energy, stylized camera moves with cranes or whatever, crash zooms, beautiful tracking shot, but then you've got to immediately switch it to something else. When you finish the sort of joke or hit that beat, like suddenly becomes documentary style, or it becomes dirty handheld. And that visual shift, I feel, for the audience helps. Is that, oh, the ride's over. Oh, cool, I can laugh now, or I can breathe now. I can, take my foot off the, oh my God, I was holding the seat so tight, I was about to throw this popcorn everywhere.
Yes.
Well,
yeah.
Really
and it's
important.
those breathing moments. And I think that's also something that this does very well, is having lulls between going too hard in any of those genres for too long. One thing they said as well was not playing for laughs, or saying that it was a comedy. But going back to what you said about the camera, like the shifts, the intro shot is kind of it's almost a locked shot that focuses on the main character, Samara's character.
Yeah.
And what it allows you to do is one of the things we talked about in this was it gives the audience that security, like, okay, this is an assured opening. We know what we're doing. You're in safe hands, which is really important to let the audience know that they're not in for something that's like pieced together with gaffer tape,
which is okay too.
But then also you've got this amazing sort of performance leading it, and it's intense, and you're in there with her, and it's like throwing you straight back into the emotion by doing that of the first film. And then the camera then gets to open up as the world expands. So it's like, it's all the things we just mentioned. And
yeah, that's so cool. I can't wait to see that. I love opening shots in movies when you feel like you're in safe hands. It's a bit like a comedian when they come up on stage. Yeah. You want to feel relaxed. And as soon as you see they're nervous, you suddenly go, oh gosh, oh no. And that puts you in a bad mood or a bad headspace for the film you're about to watch. You've got to want to do it. And talking about that, like the exploding family, talking about Ready or Not in the first one, like it was outrageous. It's an outrageous sequence when they're all exploding. It's not a spoiler alert. I mean, hopefully everyone's seen it by the time they watch Ready or Not 2. That the curse is like proven real, and they literally begin exploding. That's what happens in Ready or Not, the first one. Chunks of blood are going everywhere, one by one. It's hilarious. It's absurd and cathartic. But then suddenly it gets grounded by, again, her amazing performance, and it feels real. It's stupid, but it's real, and it has to. It's actually called the rubber band theory. There's an actual name for this, by the way. In horror, it's an actual term. It's like a rubber band. You stretch the audience's suspension of disbelief with an outrageous stunt or a ridiculous bit of horror, a monster or something, huge bit of blood. What was the one that substance, like the end, the amount of blood you're stretching for so long.
I mean, that might have snapped the rubber band.
It might have snapped the rubber band, but you have to snap it back to emotional reality immediately afterwards. That's with that rubber band theory. If you stretch it too far or too long, which we're talking about the substance, the band breaks, and we as an audience go, the stakes vanish, and the movie becomes a cartoon.
Yeah. Same with an extended.
That's important.
Same with an extended action sequence. It sort of works if it's guided by the story and the characters, but I mean, I can't remember which Transformer movie it was, but one of the one of the Transformer remakes. I remember had it was about an hour to an hour and 20 minutes of just non-stop action the second half of the film.
No,
and I just switched off. It's like, it was cool. It was cool stuff happening, but it's just like you need to have a lull.
You can't take it for that amount of time. No. You actually can't. No, it's true. And talking about the another one which is really cool like that is Shaun of the Dead. With the pool cue beating scene. When they're just beating the zombie in time to Queen's "Don't Stop Me Now."
Yeah.
And it's hilarious. It keeps going, and then minutes later, Sean's mum gets bitten.
Yeah.
Barbara, right? And she's going, and the comedy just drops, and he sort of strips away the music, does Edgar Wright. He uses these tighter shots. Yep. He has these claustrophobic close-ups, and he makes the actors play on the grief massively. It becomes 100% straight at that point, from this ridiculous comedy of beating a zombie in a circle, which is stupid, to reality hits in. That is the rubber band theory, and it's so important that for you as filmmakers to use this and know when you've gone too far. And you can shoot more, and then in the edit, just know when you've gone too. You kind of know. You can stretch it. You can push right to the edge, but don't go over, because everyone just goes, "Oh, you've gone too far."
Yeah, and then you get twanged in the forehead.
Yeah, and it hurts, or in the hand, or wherever else you're flinging it from.
Don't want to know.
Okay, so Ready or Not 2 is out now in cinemas on that note. Do go watch it. Do think about where you can spring your elastic band from and what you do with
or two.
it. Or two. Where you can land it. It's true, where you're going to land it. Brilliant. Well done. Another amazing episode. Well done, Conor, again. Thank you for joining Dom on this one. Excellent. Yeah, and it'll be on our YouTube as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, someone called Giles will probably put that up very soon.
Yeah. Better do.
Yeah. Bloody bad, dude. Bloody idiot.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening, everyone. Thank you for being amazing. Thank you for joining us again, as always. 502 episodes in now. Yeah, it's my little.
You look like you're on safari. Actually, you got the elephant lamp behind you. You got sort of wooden lodge rather than the cultist attic. And some nice sort of it could be savanna plants behind you.
It could be the boys are asleep. Well, one of them. So I was like, I'll come into the outdoor
alternate layer
safari layer, which is okay in the summer days because it's not freezing cold, and today isn't. But yeah, thanks for bringing that up, Dom.
Yeah,
but the lighting in here is terrible, so I do look ridiculous. So
yes, but I mean,
no one's looking apart from you.
No one's looking.
No one's looking. Dom, thank you very much.
Thank you, Giles. That was a joy.
That was a joy. If you're lucky enough to rise up and do well, it is your duty to
explode the cultist back down.
Oh, I thought you were going to do elastic band.
Oh, send the elastic band back down somewhere.
To somewhere. Yeah. Land it somewhere safe.
Yeah. That's safe. There we go. Rubber band together.
Very good. We will see you all next Tuesday. Take care, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Starting a business can seem like a daunting task, unless you have a partner like Shopify. They have the tools you need to start and grow your business. From designing a website to marketing to selling and beyond, Shopify can help with everything you need. There's a reason millions of companies like Mattel, Heinz, and Allbirds continue to trust and use them. With Shopify on your side, turn your big business idea into... Sign up for your $1 per month trial at shopify.com/special offer.
United connects you to more of the world than any U.S. airline, and United for Business can get your company where you need to go. Whether you're growing a business or managing travel for thousands, they offer solutions to fit your needs. Track expenses, create reports, and manage traveler perks. Plus, employees earn Mileage Plus miles while your company saves on travel. Get started with no minimum spend or flight requirements. Visit business.united.com/podcast.